Hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight on Sharky Waters Wednesday Night Dive, your online live stream internet billiards variety show. Tonight we've got a special guest, Jay Bernberg. You can tune in to his episodes last season. Do you remember what
11.
episode?
It was 11.
Season 1, episode 11. All of those prior episodes are on YouTube. If you haven't done that, go ahead and go to our YouTube channel, and you can be watching live from there now, or you can hit the subscribe button and get notified whenever we do further shows in the future. Before we get into this show, where I anticipate talking about COVID crisis and commerce and Chinese economics and microdosing psilocybin mushrooms and cannabis law. I don't know. There's a lot of things, a lot of ground to cover here with you.
Skydiving, man. Jumping out of airplane.
Skydiving is definitely his passion. We're going to talk about a lot of that stuff, but before we do, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping with our sponsors that bring the show to your devices. One of the big ones is Tor Bjorn, our producer here.
Yeah.
You can check him out. What's your website?
Beatsbytor.com.
That's where his Case of the Mondays is, where you can check some of the live music out that he performs and produces. All the music that you're listening to on the sides as we chat is Beats Boy Radio that he also does, so you can find out more about that stuff on that website. Tipsy Tomato is our local sponsor for the Bar House, which we don't get to go enjoy after the show, but we normally do. But they are still cooking to-go orders, so we are participating in that. We've got our to-go order coming. Hopefully it's going to be here by the end of the show. And then Harold Prine from Prine Custom Cues. He's got this custom carbon fiber shaft for me that I've been playing with. I'm a pretty tall guy, and so it's got an extra length to it and a little bit thinner cases, but there's all kinds of custom options if you are interested or in the market. If you're looking to spend your stimulus check on some good American carbon fiber manufacturing, you can check them out. I know Jay's got a nice cue over there. We'll unpack some of what he's got because he's got nice cues. And then lastly, the sponsor is myself, the company Clean Slate Pool Tables. That's refurbishes, refelds, repairs. If you've got pool table questions or concerns or curious about what types of supply chains are still intact and up and moving in the billiard industry and which ones aren't, you can give me a call and I'll be happy to answer those questions to you. Typically we have Eric, our clock doctor, in the house. He does a little routine where he flips our sand timer upside down. That gives us 30 minutes of what we call the open swim. That's going to be the open interview time that we dive in with Jay, our start for the week. And then he's not here. He's participating at the stay-at-home orders, as well as Cassandra Bryant, our pro Shark Attack commentator. That's after the sand is done. We're going to do a little crew match routine, and then Jay and I are going to do a race to 7 and 9 ball for the Shark Attack, but that's all later. In the meantime, we will dive into this warm-up stuff that Jay's got. Tell us all about it.
Well, you were asking me earlier about what kind of drills I like, and I didn't start playing pool until I was really in my 50s. I've kind of played all my life. My dad, I grew up, around pool tables, and I love playing pool. One time I wandered into Malarkey's. I was like, I think about 52. I ate a bunch of mushrooms that night, and wandered into Malarkey's. And I was like, saw people playing pool really good.
Yeah, Malarkey's, rest in peace to anybody who is tuning in from outside of the Pacific Northwest. That's our local bar that had 9 gold crowns.
Oh, we had 22 tables in there, man.
At one point,
yeah.
And City Lights at that point.
Yeah, and then became Malarkey's. But man, I said, these are like the people you see on TV. And I said, oh, these are the people you see on TV, really good players, And I said, well, I want to do that. And I started playing. And I started hanging around with Clara. I didn't know who Clara was. She's just, an old lady who's helped me play pool.
Season 1, episode 2.
Yeah, right. And and she became my Scotch doubles partner. We've been best friends now for 10 years and still play. We had a Monday night match. We love to gamble. She didn't have any money, so we always play for all the tea in China. Right now I own the tea, but that goes back and forth. Usually she has it, but she's fun to play with. But
tea commodities, man.
Yeah, we play for all the tea in China, man. Every time I get thirsty, I gotta call her. But she always play. Didn't matter when we go play Scotch doubles in Lincoln City. We drive all the way back. I was thinking about something. I gotta try something. So I'd dug in my car and drove to Malarkey's, and she was already there.
Yeah.
And it was just how it was. And she's just great person,
Yeah.
But anyway, I break for a drill. I'm not disciplined enough to put balls in an L or a circle or do anything organized, too organized. I'm not that structured, but I like to throw 15 balls out and try and run them off. Or I break them, work on my break, and then try and run all 15 off. And I keep track of how many times I miss. And that number has come down. A lot of times I get through the whole rack. Sometimes I get through, I miss 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But, I keep watching that number.
The ideal, like golf, it's like 0 would,
Yeah, but this
lower
is
the
like
number,
playing
the
on the
better.
driving range, too. I do good on the driving range. When I get out on the course, it's a little bit different. But that's my drill that I like to do, and it's real good for me. And when you break them, they aren't spread out like that. They're clumped in clusters, and so
Send them my way.
Huh?
Send them my way.
So what you have to do is, be thinking about looking at problems and where you want to get so you don't get stuck.
Clusters.
Problems in the rack, pockets being blocked. And it improves thinking and stuff. And I say it improves. I love playing pool. I'm not very good at it. I'm a lot better than I used to be, but I love to play.
Well, yeah, you got a lot of passions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pool is luckily enough for a lot of us that it's not one of those things that you have to be super proficient at to really still be able to indulge in the highest levels of enjoyment there is. Of course, there could be people up there with Fargo 700, 750 speeds that are like, you don't understand what it's like, and maybe they're right.
Or you do things
but
like
I feel completely enriched playing at the level of speed that I'm at.
I go down to Las Vegas. I went down there in December to play in the U.S. Bar Table Championships.
Right.
I lost my first match, so I came back down in the afternoon to check my table assignment, and I was on table 1, TV table, with Ernesto Dominguez.
Yeah.
That was fun. What were you thinking? I said, well, hey, what'd you do this weekend? I mean, I got to play on the TV table with Ernesto Dominguez. I had a great weekend.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're sitting around saying that you're a fool.
You can't do it in golf. You can go to the tournament golf course and play with Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson. This fool's great.
Yeah. It's very accessible. Okay, so now they're swung open, and we're gonna go buckaball here. Right.
Yeah, we can do that. Well, so now it's my turn. I'll finish the inning out, then you break and run.
Okay.
We'll see how far I can get here.
Just counting off
At
runs.
the end of just counting off balls at the end.
Yeah. And it's just a casual way to warm up, work on your fundamentals and your stroke, get your mind right.
Yeah, get a little rhythm going maybe.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and come out of the woods with it and say that I've been on a pretty long-term microdose of psilocybin.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that is quantifiable in my pool focus and stuff like that. And you mentioned before that you'd indulged in some of that stuff. Is that like a present thing? Is that like an old back in the day thing?
Yes and yes.
Yeah. So how's...
although back in the day wasn't about microdosing. We were just full on, expand our consciousness and try and learn things.
Yeah, right before we went on the air, you were talking Timothy Leary, tune in, tune out, find the others.
Turn on, tune in, drop out. It's
right.
when I was a kid, I was little. I was a Boy Scout, and I wanted to be like a lawyer and a jet pilot and all that stuff. And Vietnam, Richard Nixon, little kids a couple years ahead of me were graduating from high school and coming back in boxes and shit. And I woke up and said, man, I've been lied to, and turn on, tune in, drop out. And I took off, and went a whole nother direction. I wanted to be a lawyer and a pilot. I grew up to be a skydiver and an outlaw, but eventually I became a lawyer. But
yeah, well, I was going to say all roads lead to Rome in that regard. We all know your, if anybody's checked in with your first episode and stuff, your role in cannabis culture and cannabis criminality here in Washington. But that didn't come until later, right?
Oh,
you didn't
no,
come right out. You're not one of these children who, 3.8 GPA out of high school, first of the class in tons of acceptance letters to colleges.
I took off out of high school, man, and was around a lot. I had episodes where I was rich and made a lot of money, and times where I was homeless, and it kind of went back and forth, and ended up with a real problem with cocaine and other stuff, and at 31, I said, okay, stop. And I retired from skydiving. It changed my whole life.
Whew.
Yeah.
Cocaine and skydiving mixed together. I bet you that's a rush.
Yeah. Mushrooms and skydiving is a rush. LSD.
I think we touched in on that last episode.
But,
I'll keep my feet on the ground.
No doubt.
No. skydive is good anyway. I mean, but I don't recommend that people do that. It's be responsible and say don't do that. But I
of
did.
course, of course.
You know, but I got clean and sober, and 31 years old. I did a bachelor's degree as summa cum laude from the Honors College at Arizona State with political science and religious studies. I got a full ride into grad school and did a master's degree in religious studies. Clean and sober, but all roads lead back to hallucinogenics. I ended up doing my master's thesis on peyote, okay, in the Native American church. And my job was to eat peyote in the Native American church and learn stuff and write about it, which is, okay, all back to that again, right? And then, so I leave that and I go to law school and I graduate cum laude from Seattle University, Juris Doctor, worked on the state Supreme Court, and ended up in marijuana law, right? All roads lead right back to that. For me, it's always been about learning that way, and my spiritual energy, my karma, my person, who I am, it always leads this my life. To
this consciousness expansion.
Yeah, it comes. It's part of who you are. It's not like I had to
Let me get out of your line of
Yeah.
vision here while you shoot that.
Like that's gonna hurt me. But no, that just it seems to always end up there, you know, which is good. It's a good thing, I think. I'm not certainly not complaining.
Yes. Well,
about
let me pause you there, and we'll do like a little double checking in as we got the lawyer in the house. That marijuana, cannabis, tetrahydrocannabinoid, all of that is considered a Schedule I narcotic on the federal level. So how many do you got there?
I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 8.
So you got 8.
I got 8. Now it's your
keep
turn.
8. We've got a dry erase marker over here. We can keep track on a board. Okay, so it's considered a Schedule I narcotic, which is with what? Heroin? Opiates?
Heroin,
cocaine is a Schedule I,
LSD Schedule
correct?
2. No, cocaine Schedule 2. Cocaine can be prescribed.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
prescription
Well,
drug,
they give cocaine for everything, right?
No, heroin.
Put a little cocaine on it.
Yeah, yeah, really. No, to be Schedule I, it has to have no recognized medical value and a high potential for abuse.
Right.
That'll get you, but if it has recognized medical value, it can be Schedule II.
Now, it's also considered a Schedule I hallucinogen, correct?
Well, just Schedule I narcotic. I don't know if it's scheduled as a hallucinogen. That's kind of more of a...
I think that anybody who would argue that it's not a hallucinogen probably hasn't had copious amounts of it, because, you know, you can definitely have like...
Depends on how you think of hallucinogens, too, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way to word it too. Some people, an entheogen,
like Terrence McKenna. Talk about mushrooms. Or you think about Bill Hicks and Terrence McKenna. Those guys talk about a heroic dose. So now we're talking about
5 dry grams in total silent darkness. I believe is like the actual prescription of a heroic dose.
Yeah, and I've been there, and that's hallucinogenic. We used to get this liquid LSD 25, and you put like a drop on a sugar cube, right? Well, we put 2 drops on a sugar cube and then take 2 sugar cubes, and you could see music, you could hear colors.
Synesthesia is what that's called, right?
Yeah, you're right. And
you can induce symptoms of synesthesia with the proper doses of those compounds.
Red is really loud.
Steve Jobs once said that he laid down in a grass field and heard Johann Sebastian Bach's symphony in the grass blades blowing in the wind. That like each reed of grass had its like own individual note and was playing its own individual sequence in proper order, and that he walked away tripping out thinking that like what wasn't like crazy and psychedelic about that experience, like everyone else was like, wow, that's trippy, was he walked away thinking, wow, that data is actually in my head, in his subconscious mind, that his data had read that captured moment. He had probably listened to Bach a couple times, wasn't like super proficient at music or whatever, but
and you've been in those altered realities, and they're parallel universes there, and they're there. I mean, if you've been there, not to sound weird, trippy, but it's those of us who've been there know it's there. But
I once had for anybody who's watching this stuff, there's a pretty renownedly famous Mexican pool player named Rafael Martinez. And Rafael Martinez used to frequent the City Lights and Malarkey's pool hall. It's the same facility, but changed ownership, and eventually went out of business.
Hung out of my house a lot.
Fell to the same destiny as all the other, as a lot of pool halls, unfortunately. But yeah, I didn't know that you were good friends with him. But one time we were hanging out. He's a funny guy. He's an interesting guy, and nearly like Hall of Fame level pool playing, And he and I connected on the fact that he had said something in Spanish, and I had said something to him back, and he assumed that I could speak Spanish and started going off, and I was like, no, muy poquito, mi abuela es mexicano, that's about it. And he's like, oh, okay, but he befriended me because he knew that I had a Mexican background. Right. And so one day we were all outside having cigarettes, probably smoking pot, out at Malarkey's in the smoking area. And we're talking about illnesses and getting sick. And funny enough, it was like a time when there was some bug going around in the air, and a lot of people were experiencing being sick. And we were talking about the element that sometimes whenever you're sick and your physical body has been diminished, its capability, that it brings your mental ability up a little bit, and it kind of hits a balance stroke on the pool table where you can find yourself playing good even though you're not feeling really great.
Kind of compensation.
Yeah, and I was I had the guy's ears full, and I was chatting and talking and everything, and I had brought in your astro body and the spiritual self of it, and how that can autopilot over these moments and stuff. And as I'm saying all this stuff, Rafael Martinez walks through, and he's going from his car in there, and he's like, "What are you guys talking about?" And I'm like, "We're talking about how we're talking about how your spiritual self, that things happen to your spiritual body before they happen to your physical, that they're connected to your physical body, and that if your spiritual body is feeling fatigued, then your physical body has to make up for it. And if your physical body is feeling fatigued, your spiritual body has to make up for it. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that?" And he was like, "No. I think everything happens to your astral body first." And I was like, "What?"
Right on, Rafael.
Yeah, I was like, "What?" And so I was like, "Tell me more." And he took a couple steps towards the group of guys. And he went on and he said, "Everything that happens to your body, thoughts, ideas, interactions, relationships, sicknesses, illnesses, they happen to your astral body first, and then it experiences to yourself on the physical plane." And I was like, trip out. And I was like, that's some high-minded, you play pool up there or something? And he looked at me and he was like, "No, I play pool to take a break from that place." Major mind blown.
He was, Claire and I were at Lincoln City, and he was playing a tournament there, and he wanted, so he's, stay with us, and she shows up about midnight, and I hear thunk over in the corner, and he's got this big old air mattress. His eyes pumping up. He's moved in. He had a guitar and a bicycle. Set up a little living room there in our suite. And he won a bunch of money in the tournament in Calcutta. And so he cooked for us. Right now we come back from playing, and he'd have fresh salmon and rice and stuff hooked up in our suite. It was good. Mm-hmm. Raphael's fun to hang around with.
Yeah. He's got a lot of that genuine Mexican hospitality in him, I would imagine. He's always been really friendly to me, but I know that he's also got a gruff side to him.
He's intense.
We all do.
He's intense. He lives on another plane, look at the way he plays pool. He lives that way, He's just, very neat person, And one thing about pool players is that a lot of pool players are, we live at that level. I think a lot of people play at that level and they're really good. We live at that level. It's part of what's attracting people like us to pool, There's a lot of us here, right? To show up, just something about the nature of this that brings that out, or is at least really compatible with it, right?
Yeah, I think kind of going back to Terrence McKenna and Timothy Leary, they kind of coined the word psychedelic, and in their mind they were trying to describe something that seemed undescribable.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that, dare I say, of what we connect with in pool is pretty psychedelic. It's hard to explain. There's a lot of, you could really analyze a lot of the finite variables of pool, and then you can even go outside of those analyses and say,
oh, you like analyzing tiny variables, do you? And that can be something you have in common, but it's somehow more and less than that.
Well, there's what's more I think about it is the feel, the way I feel when I hit pool balls, and and the way I feel when things are going right, even when they're going wrong. But there's a feel about this that I don't know. People who play pool know what that means, right?
Yeah. I think in my own psychedelic experiences, I've had an immediate connection with some of the visuals that I can see, and somehow, some way, whether I can explain it or not, understand that those visuals are like graphs that represent and identify different sensations and feelings of my own emotional sensations at the moment. Because as I start to transcend from feeling happy to scared, I can see that thing change, and you're like, oh, there's some kind of connectivity in those measurements in that somehow, in some way.
Fun
It's
stuff.
all really mixed up together stuff. Kind of hard to keep your head, not only keep your head around, but keep your head on, especially while you're playing
You ever
pool.
tried playing with a really not a heroic dose, but serious dose, mushrooms, acid?
When I was younger, my evolution from microdosing on a daily basis to, which is more of my present dose now, that's evolved from my late teen years. Started off with pretty gigantic heroic doses once a year, and then kind of breaking that down to like maybe not so gigantic twice a year, and two of those. And then as I grew up and evolved, and as anybody who's taken psychedelics, and more specifically psilocybin mushrooms, can understand that they kind of are taking you at a time, like it's teaching you on top of the lesson that you learned last. And so in some of that, my lesson has been
the mushrooms, they come at you
Lower
kind of
the dose.
hard, and there's that uncomfortable period where sometimes you have to see things you don't want to see and feel things you don't want to feel. Then you go past it and you get to that really nice spot, where things start making sense, right? You start understanding and remembering things, not necessarily learning, but remembering things you already know, right?
Right. A lot of what you're explaining on a neurological level is what they call, neurological gray matter.
Right.
The ability and repatterning of your synapses. If you have a certain way of thinking, and then your synapses are attached to that way of thinking, and then all of a sudden the psychedelic drugs have the ability to disengage that pattern, you come up with these new ideas, and they seem like new, profound feelings. But a lot of the ways they've been there the whole time.
You detach from the cultural stories that have defined your reality, right? And
Correct.
can redefine. It's one of the neat things about depression and treatment they're doing microdosing now, and how what that's doing for people in terms of depression and traumatic past PTSD and those
You can
kinds
learn
of
a lot
things.
about that at maps.com.
Really? Okay.
Forget what the acronym stands for, but it's Applied Psychedelic Studies, Mental Applied Psychedelic Studies.
Yeah.
Those guys are doing a lot of work, and a lot of their research is what's being used in the legal basis on advancing the decriminalization of mushrooms and
That's why it's
stuff.
Schedule 2, not Schedule 1, because there is a known medical use for it.
Right. What's our hopes for having legalized or decriminalized mushrooms
Done pretty good.
in Washington?
Pretty good. There's not too much action around that right now. Just we've had so much going on with cannabis, but Oregon's done a good job with it. I think Colorado has. Some places that are stepping up on it. They're going to give us some models to work with, and we get the right people moving around it here, and we could see that happening.
Do you have any plans in shifting gears in your business model and starting to engage in some of that?
I'm not
law?
much of a planner, more of an opportunist, and and the opportunity comes up, something happens, and I'm in the right spot, then absolutely I'll participate and do what's asked of me or what's available to me for sure. Am I scoping anything out, working in a particular direction? No. I'm 64 now. My kids. By the way, hi Liam, hi Nora, hi Monet. I think about you guys. I think about you. Love you all the time. I think about you all the time. So a little shout out. And Kim, their mom too. Hey, hi to you too. I love you too.
Got him.
Got 'em.
You beat me.
All right, I'll rack you up.
All right.
Your turn.
All right. So yeah, I slow my law practice down, you know, and kind of trying to just do one day at a time and not stress out too much. But easier said than done, I think. But
Hey, can I give some quick shout outs here real quick to Tipsy Tomato and Fred Lash. Can you read what it says on the box for us, please?
Thanks for the support, Sharky Waters. Tipsy Tomato.
We love you, Fred. Thanks for the pizza and for continuing to provide like pool and all of that stuff, pushing that culture forward and providing the za. And I just got to say real quick, I know you guys don't have a view of the chat room or whatever, but there's like a surprisingly like resounding yes of pro psychedelics within our chat room. I guess is like not to be surprised, but some people are being forthcoming about their usage and their experience. Jordan says he broke and ran out while on LSD once, and the cue ball was a globe that was melting from his perspective.
Yeah.
I can see Deb Jordan doing that.
Yeah, that's funny. We're coming up. Go ahead.
Jazzman says he's a monster on mushrooms, and he's like micro all the way.
Cool. Some of that's not surprising at all from some of these guys. We're coming up on the anniversary of Doc Ellis's no-hitter when he was on acid. And
Was he on acid or LSD?
he was on LSD. That is acid.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on that was I want to say in June or July, and he pitched the no-hitter. And then Jesse Bergman, maybe season 1, episode 3 or 5, at the time, that jersey that he pitched in was autographed and like being for sale on Amazon for only like $1,500 or something. And he was like, I might buy that, you know, but
Yeah,
it's like a
definitely.
pretty famous piece of sports history and psychedelic history
Big time.
there. And then did you hear that they're supposed to be making a movie about that with Ice Cube playing Doc Ellis?
Really?
Sweet.
I mean, that's the rumor. I'm not
That's
like
cool.
a movie buff and follow the chains in that kind of way. But I also, speaking of weird anniversaries, you know, Facebook has its like Zuckerberg memory for you. And a couple, 2 days ago, a couple years back, 4 years back, I shared a Facebook post that was saying that Jim Carrey was gonna be performing as Terrence McKenna in a bioepic documentary called True Hallucinations. And there was somebody out there's a guy out there who has been trying to convince Jim Carrey to do this. And he's been convincing him to do it by creating the marketing material as if it's already happened. And like may happen someday, but it'd be really interesting if it did. It's like kind of pseudo hacking the reality through social media, you know, creating a demand for something that's not really there.
I like
and
it.
Making people follow through with that demand. So talk to me about, let's do this, because I know you're passionate skydiving. And my job as a host is to kind of keep on subject with the audience and keep on subject with the guest and all that stuff. Let's talk about the big plunge into the abyss and the unknown factor of what it takes in that bravery to experiment with
Skydiving?
expanding your consciousness. And then how's that relate over to the bravery that it takes to jump out of an airplane from 13,000 feet?
Wow.
Is there a connection there? Is there?
There is.
I imagine if you put a post out to the skydiver community and said, "Hey, who likes psychedelics?" There'd be a lot of yays in the crowd.
I know at a time there was and I know those people are still around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. There's a whole nother kind of a thing going on with skydiving that's seems to be more responsible and more safe these days. But you know, that's probably a good thing.
I mean, regulating.
Yeah.
Regulation and.
People wear helmets and automatic openers and reserve static lines, and we didn't. Back in the day, didn't have a lot of that.
Yep.
It's a little bit different now, but it's still the same kind of mindset. You know, the leaving an airplane, being not touching anything, just air, you know, and flying with other people, you know, and yeah, that's a kind of thing that you could. There's only one way to experience that, and that's to go do that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was nice.
That's the one.
You open up a dialogue about legality of how to host a private party where you can smoke weed.
Okay, Tor just shouted out from the background. They're back there in the pizza lounge, actually. And he's looking at finding out information and open up the dialogue on the legalities of having parties that you can smoke weed at. Am I correct about that? Are we talking here in Washington?
Well, and let's be clear, you know, if we're talking about just in your home and people over, or are you talking about it more like a private club kind of setting where you call it a party and have people over to smoke?
I'm curious about both, but specifically the first one.
Okay, when the marijuana law, cannabis law was first written in Washington, the way it was written was it actually made it illegal for me to hand you a joint. It was an unlawful delivery. And
an unlawful delivery for a joint
controlled
pass.
Substance, right? Yeah, and that
Puff,
wasn't
puff,
what was intended.
Puff, illegal delivery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's felony. You know, unlawful delivery of a controlled substance.
Yikes.
That wasn't intended, and so they had to fix that.
Okay.
So it has been fixed. So if you have people over, and assuming everybody's 21, right? Yeah, no problem, and it's legally purchased and so on. Then yeah, it's not a problem in Washington. When we start saying legal and illegal too, there's another important thing to think about. You know, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and marijuana was not legal, but it was legal. I mean, it was everywhere. I mean, it was just as easy to get then as it is now. You know, we never had a problem with finding weed. You know, I mean, there was always lots of it. You know, transportation, logistics, banking, we didn't have any problem with any of that. What illegal meant was just don't be stupid and don't get caught. That's what illegal meant. It didn't mean anybody didn't do any less of it.
I still believe a lot of legality resides in that realm.
Yeah, you know, I mean, legal, I mean, my rights end where yours begin, right? And
of course.
If I don't step over that far, then is it really illegal? You know, I mean, that's why we have illegal, right? It's just keep everybody safe and
criminality of victimization.
Social contract. Right.
Right. So I want to know about what if your private party? Man, that's a real bummer. What if your private party that you're at and you're inviting friends over to participate in cannabis? What if it's like such a private party in the said sense that you have to buy a ticket to get in?
Now that's no longer a private party.
Okay.
that's you know, that's a club, private club, not legal. But again, until somebody complains and it becomes an issue, I mean, if it's not a thing, it didn't happen. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear, did it make any noise? And the answer is probably yes. But it's like this. You have people over, you know, and they bring friends over and everybody kicks in to a fund to pay for the weed that's there that night. I don't know. I guess if somebody really wanted to come after you and push you, I mean, they could probably. I don't know. I can't imagine a prosecutor, police arresting it. I can't imagine a prosecutor prosecuting it. Is it strictly legal? No, probably not. Would there be any consequences for it? Well, probably not. You know. So, what does legal and illegal mean if you're looking at it at that level, right?
Right. Well, that's where the gray areas of legality are created, right? You have to have someone enact on something, someone else come and say, "Hey, that you can't do that."
Right. You know, I drove drunk 3,000 times. You know, and then I got caught once. Right.
This is not an advocation for driving drunk for anybody. This is solid legal advice. Do not drive drunk.
The reality of it, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, I defend DUIs, and you defend people that drive 300-400 times drunk before they ever get caught. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, is drinking and driving against the law? No. Driving impaired? Yes. Are you impaired? Well, if nobody notices it, you're probably not really that impaired. Even if you are over 0.08 or 0.10, you are legally impaired.
Yeah.
But you're not impaired to where you're drawing any attention. Are you impaired? So you're in violation of the law. You broke the law, but have you broke the law?
Well, if you look at anything like one particular thing close enough, absolutely as close as you can, it's neither a wave or a particle. And that's like the mystery of the full circle of the spirit realm meeting the physical realm, and why we all fantastically
Quantum
love this,
mechanics,
love
right?
this game. We're out of the sand on the timer, so let's take a break on the side.
All right.
And
I'm going to ask a bonus question because we're waiting for Lash to come back.
Fire away.
Step out. I thought we were getting pretty deep on all the psychedelic stuff, but as I'm checking back in the chat room, the hot question is pineapple on pizza. Where do you stand? Does pineapple belong on pizza or no?
no,
Jay saying no.
no.
Tom saying
pizza,
no.
there ain't pineapple on it.
No, I think I hate to be the guy that asks a question with a question, answers a question with a question. But have you ever tried to wrestle a pineapple out of the ground?
No,
have not.
have you?
Have you?
No. But I mean, if you did,
they
you'd
cut
probably realize they don't go on. They do actually. They don't grow under the ground. They grow on the top of.
They're not a root.
Yeah, they're not a root. But I imagine if you just had any particular part of that labor, then you would understand that is not something that goes on a hot plate. You know what I mean? That's intended to be a refreshing,
juicy fruits
through the nature of.
Put down pizza.
Hey, you gotta. I mean, if we're looking for a reason to get an argument, someone rebuttal.
All right, David, are you ready to hop in here?
Yeah,
Maybe we
just gotta
can,
get my cues up.
Maybe we can take a quick break. David's going to pull some of his equipment out.
Yeah.
And, what we're going to do when we return
I've got
is that Lash is going to run us through some rules and stylings for our season finale tournament that we're actually hosting online. So anyone that's got a pool table at home or anyone that has access to like a phone camera or some type of streaming situation, stay tuned because this one's for you. It's going to be a small buy-in with chance for a big reward. Lots of money is what that means. All that and more when we return on Sharky Waters, The Night Dive. Okie dokie. We're back. Sharky Waters, Wednesday Night Dive. We're switching it up from our usual crew match with respect to everybody who is staying in isolation and all of that good stuff. Instead of a crew match, we're going to be putting David Lash on the spot, and we're going to be talking about the rules for our upcoming tournament. So at the end of the season, we're going to be hosting an online live streamed tournament through Zoom. It's probably going to be Zoom. We're still figuring out the exact app, but it seems like Zoom is the front runner right now. And so what's going to be happening is you're going to be playing the Ghost when you enter this tournament, and David's going to give us an example of that. And basically what that means is you're playing a player that can't miss. So if you miss, they're going to run out. And your goal is to break and run out. Every miss means that you lost that rack, and you're going to be playing 7 racks. Every time you get a ball to go down, you get 1 point. And if you get all 9 balls to go down in that one rack, then you get a bonus point. So it's a maximum possible 14 points per rack.
And then if you scratch at any point throughout the rack, it's -5, correct?
That's right. And so what you're looking for, you're going to be pitted against someone in a bracket. So you don't necessarily need to get a certain amount of points to be like past a threshold to continue. You just need to get more points than your opponent. So we're going to run 3 today and total David's points so we get an idea of how this is going to work. Big break. Gets the 7 to fall down on the break. Now he's braked. He has an option for ball in hand at this point. After every break, you'll get to take the cue ball and put it wherever you want. Just one time.
Yeah, I mean, he had them and he was going to Mexico.
What are you thinking on this one, Dave?
No, I'm gonna shoot. I don't know yet, actually. This one ball's in a tricky spot. I'm gonna shoot it in the corner, I think. Follow down for the 2.
Gotcha. There you go. 1 ball down, so that's 2 on this. Total of 2 points. 3 points. 4.
Don't freeze, do it. Oh, the yowzers.
So it would have been 4 points, right? But it was a scratch.
5, so it's 0.
Back to 0. Tough first rack. We've definitely seen David break and run several in our trials here. But he's got a couple more tries. And again, you just have to get more points than your opponent. And anyone can scratch. Anyone can dog a shot.
Do you know if is it gonna be a single elimination or double? The tournament?
Probably double.
Double elimination, depending on how many players we get signed up.
Yeah.
Of course, if we have 100 players, there's no way.
Yeah, I think starting in the tournament.
Yeah, let's get Dom in on the conversation here.
Sorry, guys. I was back there visiting with Jay off
In the pizza lounge.
in the pizza lounge. But I was thinking, yeah, we're going to be trying to do double elimination unless the bracket fills up to some huge amount. We were even open. This stuff is all like being unraveled as we move forward. Because if we get enough people, we're open to doing a multi-day tournament since everybody's going to be in their homes. So a lot of it is like depending on the response that we get from people who have pool tables at their home and access to phones to be able to jump in on it.
Oh, Lord.
So Dave gets 1 on the break, takes ball in hand after the break, gets the 1 ball to go down, and then unforced error puts the ghost up at the table, and of course the ghost is
Nobody likes
good as fuck at pool, so he never misses.
My
Nobody
downstairs
likes the
room
ghost.
The whole table.
No.
My guys put a 4.5 by 9.
Nobody wants a ghost. You
perfect.
get a ghost.
My
Is how that
daughters,
works.
Their bed's down there now, but my son's leaving.
No one likes to be
college. One's
ghosted?
already at
So that's 2 points
Right
in
now,
2 racks.
home, but
That's not very good.
No, that's I mean, I'm looking at your all-time high scorer here. Playing this was like 86 or something in all the trial runs we ran, I believe, right? And you had an 82,
86.
couple 60s,
60s.
a couple
Yeah.
40s.
Average was 57. But that's 7 racks.
Yeah, that's true. So obviously we're just
Yeah.
running 3 today. Is that a dry break and a scratch? Woof, buddy. That was a rough one. Do you want to just run it back? Just for ego's sake? I
What,
mean,
is this my mulligan?
yeah.
No, I like this.
The mulligan.
I like
All right.
this layout.
The crowd, if they think a mulligan should be done.
I think it's a nice little twist because there's always possibly going to be that one break where the balls don't break well or things are tied up, so you can
Yeah.
just say mulligan and throw away the rack and re-break them.
when we play dice, you can always wave it off. You can always wave off the roll, right?
If let us know in the comment thread what you guys think about like a redo rule. You get one redo every
7 games.
yeah. So if you get
And
a
you
weird
don't have
break
to use it.
or if you scratch and you really were like, that was my rack, then you get to just forego one of your penalty -5 points. And we've got mixed reviews here in our inner council rulemaking meetings, but we would like to hear everybody weigh in. So obviously, as you can see, Dave plays a good game of pool and poorly represented in those 3 racks, but that happens sometimes in when it's tournament time. But that's how we're totaling points. You got to beat your opponent in points, and that either puts you on to the next bracket or puts you in the B round. We're going to be doing that via video call, live streaming people's games, and we're going to have a whole tournament bracket and big prize, big payout
All right,
for
I think
whoever
I'm warmed
wins.
up.
Yeah, you ready to run this one back, Dave? Well, there you have it, folks. The real speed, maybe, for now, of David Lash. Thanks for running through that with us, Dave.
Yeah, no
Appreciate it,
problem.
man. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Jay Bernberg versus Dom McHenry in the Sharky Waters Shark Attack. All that and more when we return on Sharky Waters Late Night Dive.
You believe a monster lurks in each of us.
And we're back. Wednesday Night Dive, Jay Bernberg versus Dom. The boys are lagging for the break. Jay wins the lag, so he will break first. We're here at the Sharky Waters studio celebrating pool and life and good pizza. And now the rules. Dom wants to get a quick word in. That's why I'm pausing. Go for it, buddy.
Saying.
We got a Dom, I'm sorry to cut you off. We got a weird thing with the mic cut out. You want to just run over here and just holler it down the commentator mic? Just I don't want people to miss out on you. What you're saying?
I was just saying that it's like the month of 420, and that's like poignantly the celebration of cannabis culture and all of that. And we've got Jay Bernberg in the house. So I feel like inclined to say that I've had years of like Facebook memory posts that have looked like not celebrating that in light of when I was in high school. 420 was the day of the first Columbine shooting. And, you know, we've had a lot of like really terrible even copycat shootings. Not that that was the first, but it was the one that was engineered through the media to fabricate a reaction to our people and our masses. And so I think that if you're like a pot smoker and you indulge in that and you fancy yourself as somebody who's expanding your consciousness, that on the days of 420, or in this particular case the month, being 420 for the entire year, that if you're participating in that type of culture and you're not using that expansion to dive down into the depths of thought and checking in with those moments of humbling ourselves through people who are losing their lives to needless violence, and certainly in the times of the COVID crisis with everybody smoking pot and the vulnerability of people's health being through their respiratory systems, and there being like a clear message from Mother Earth to protect our ecosystem and our environment through our atmosphere, that just in like I'm gonna like try and play well and keep my like moment of silence in 420 through that, with that in mind. You know what I mean? That it's not that I don't celebrate it, that it's like I pride myself on thinking a little bit deeper than the shallow celebration of 420. And if you smoke like we smoke, then you're high every day. So.
We're just running down the rules here of the Shark Attack. This is games of 9-ball. First to 7 wins. Takes the whole burrito, as they say, or just wins the game overall. You can combo, you can carry them. Lucky shots are all good. If you scratch, your opponent gets ball in hand. If you've got ball in hand and you scratch, you owe us 12 push-ups. That's a house rule. No exceptions. The only exception actually is if you were a member of the community that legalized cannabis in Washington State, you are exempt from the push-up rule. So Jay, being a weed lawyer, of course, gives him a pass there. Nice break and an opening run there for Jay. Dom's looking at the 5-ball now. Gets a good look at it, but just rattles it out of the pocket, unfortunately, so he'll hand the table back over to Jay. Joined here in the commentary booth by David Lash. How you doing, David?
I am doing well.
Five ball goes down for Jay.
Good try by Jay. He's trying to draw back for the 7-ball, which caused him to miss the 6. Giving Dom an opportunity here. Dom makes the 6 ball and gets perfectly in line on the 7. Good effort there by Dom. Jay's gonna try playing a little bit of low left here. Coming back over for the 8. Hit it really well, stroked through the ball nice and smooth. Now he can go forward here if he wants, or draw over to the side rail. I think he's gonna play draw. Strokes through the ball nice. Gets right in line on the 9 ball. Jay wins the first game, putting him up 1-0.
Yeah, just put them 2 on there. That way, by the time it gets to the end. That way, you don't have to explain it at the end.
Okay, so the score is 3-0. Dom gave Jay 2 games on the wire to start this out. Race to 7. They are gambling. Jay makes the 1 ball on the break, has shape on the 2. Trying to miss that 6 ball with the tangent line forces him to miss the 2 ball. Fortunately for him, he has a visitor in between the cue ball and the 2 ball. It is the 5 ball. Dom is going to have to jump over it now. Good jump there by Dom, making contact with the 2 ball. 2 ball goes 2 rails, back down to the side of the table, leaving Jay a straight in shot on the 2.
Dave, we've got a conversation here about pattern racking in the chat room. Some people saying that 2 ball in the back makes it harder to run out. Some people saying that no, it makes it easier to run out. Do you have any insight on that?
I mean, it all depends on the speed of the break. Honestly, when it comes down to the pattern racking, I haven't looked into it that much. My name's not Corey Dool. He is the master of the rack. As long as you're not soft breaking, I believe it shouldn't matter where the balls are other than the 1 and the 9. If you get into the soft break, then I believe pattern racking is useful. I'm not a big soft break person.
Explain to me how does a soft break work?
So with the soft break, if you're using a magic rack, whatever wing ball you're breaking from on that side, that wing ball, you don't have to hit the rack hard. That wing ball should be dead in the corner off the break. So instead of breaking 70% power, you can actually break like 15 to 20%, and the balls kind of fluff off the magic rack, you can call it. And instead of having balls all the way down here in the kitchen, mid table, and then also at the break end, they're all kind of just going to be around the center of the table. So it's easier to run out. I just say for the tournament, we just say no soft breaking and go from there. And if there is some issues with it, we can touch base with it case by case.
Gotcha. Right on, man. Well, Dom has an unfortunate scratch of the 4-ball, and Jay's able to capitalize easy and follow up on the 5. Looking at the 6-ball now.
Good shot there by Jay, and he gets fortunate that he hits the fin and comes back to this side of the table to get shape on the 7.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Fortunate for the shape, fortunate for the non-scratch. Pockets the 8-ball, leaving himself a long shot on this 9. This is a tester, guys. Man, I think this 64-year-old wants to put Dom to bed. He's playing lights out. Are we sure this guy's a lawyer and not a pool player? That's what he's looking like.
He's a lawyer who plays pool, not a pool player who practices laws.
He says he's a pool player that practices law. I like it.
Harry Plattis talking.
Shout out to the Hall of Famer Harry Plattis. Sarah, it's going to be on, I believe the app is called Zoom. So yes, it will be live. Everybody that plays in it has to have a phone that they can stream off of and then a table at their house. We will be releasing more details on the Sharky Waters page in the next week. He made the 3-ball in the break tour and then played a pretty darn good safe. If I was in court, I'd be yelling, "Objection, Your Honor!" And they would say,
Sir, you're not allowed to be in here. You have to leave.
oh, Dom gives it a good effort on the 2-railer right there. Did Fred put something in that pizza? Other than deliciousness?
No, I think it was Jay that put something in that pizza. If you catch my drift.
I am not. Jay makes the 1-ball. Also played the carom on the 9. Gave it a good effort going towards the corner. You might be able to see the edge of this. But I'm pretty sure he's kicking at it here. He's going to try hitting the inside of the ball and getting the cue ball to go back down towards the 9. Holy cow. Clara, he's going to make you... Well, you'll still be proud. That was a great effort there by Jay.
Big time.
And once again, Dom is hooked. He's going to take his time here. look at his angles, figure out where he's got to hit just to make contact with this 2-ball. It's out towards the middle of the table, so it's a little bit harder to hit. And Jay is getting ball in hand. And he is on 2. He calls it on himself. 3 foul rule is in effect. Are you falling asleep on me, Tori?
No, I'm here. I'm here with you.
Jay banks that 2-ball in and sets himself up for the 4-9 combo.
Josh, we
Great shot there by by Jay. And he's up 5-0.
yeah, those games on the wire.
I think what happened was I went up there and turned the switch on, and that got Jay feeling some sort of way about them neon lights up there.
Big time. I think
the way your arm moved, I'm like, ooh, I remember, not remember, forgot.
Just don't watch my arm in about hour and a half, okay? The lights will be out.
Oh, yeah, I remember, man.
was that a crass joke?
Dom says, don't call it a comeback, but here I am.
We talk a lot about the momentum swing that happens, and I've noticed in games where players agree to a handicap, it's like you're starting with that momentum swing, and I feel like that's what we're seeing from Jay here. Great break, but poor leave on the 1, unfortunately. But
yeah, I mean,
there's some
there's a little
some
bit of
comfort that comes with that.
There's a mental game there, especially if they start out with the games on the wire compared to just say Dom goes to 7, he goes to 5,
Yeah. Also, side note, shout out to Josh. We totally saw a million miles away as you were asking for certain camera angles to look for the hidden shark, and it's no surprise that you found the hidden shark. And we appreciate you being here in the chat room with us, man. Welcome back. Jay opts for a push after that break.
And Dom gives it back to him. He says, I'll call your bluff. I'll raise you 50. Go ahead and shoot it, sir.
With the respectful sir at the end.
Well, yeah, he's a lawyer that practices, or he's a pool player that practices law.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Jay, does your business card still have the same quote on the back?
Drive fast, take chances, call collect.
Drive fast, take chances, call collect. Jay Bernberg, guys.
My marijuana company's called 8-Ball Barristers.
Dom tries playing safe there. Doesn't quite end up getting there, but leaves Jay kind of tough on this one. It's like a 90-degree cut into the side. Who knows where the cue ball's going? Goes into the 4, and Jay's gonna get a shot on the 2. Not an easy one. Yeah, I feel like rotation's definitely a momentum game. Once you get momentum on your side, sometimes it can be hard to slow you down at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can get lucky a couple times, and that can be the difference in a set. Whether you miss the ball and the guy's hooked and you get ball in hand, then you run out, compared to if he misses and leaves it in the jaw of the pocket.
Yep.
Soft
shot on the 2 for Dom in the corner. Great leave on the 3. Now, Dave, you're a gamer, right?
Yeah.
So you'll probably, hopefully, appreciate this metaphor here. But the games on the wire are like when you hold down accelerate on the second light in the beginning of a Super Mario Kart race. Mm-hmm. You get a little boost in the beginning, but it doesn't necessarily last forever. It's momentum, but you got to keep the momentum going after that.
For sure, yeah.
Dom has a great look at the
Because if you
floor
don't,
in the
you
corner.
might just hit that banana peel and just start doing donuts.
Big time. I think Dom doesn't quite get the result he's looking for, but he's definitely not left anything easy here for Jay.
I'm going to blame Moscone for jumping off the couch right there. And if he has an issue with it, he's going to get right back up there. Yeah. Okay.
Got to keep it interesting.
Can I have my phone that you like to... Why do you like sitting on phones, Cat?
He's a weird guy. Jay makes a really great attempt at a safety there and definitely doesn't make it easy for Dom, but...
Oh, no.
Oof.
Dom makes the 5 ball and ends up scratching. Giving Jay ball in hand on the 7 ball, but hey, there's still 2 balls on the table, and you know the rules here at Sharky Waters. You gotta... Well, Jay says push-ups, but I was thinking you gotta make every ball on the table.
I thought it was...
There ain't no give up.
I thought it was hey, smoke weed every day. But maybe that's... maybe
I
I'm
think
thinking of
that
something
line
else.
is taken. I think it was on an album before. Did you write that album?
I wish I wrote that album.
Don't we all? And Jay takes that one for granted a little bit. Either that or he's laughing at me and Tor over here. Dom
Dom gets
pockets
the 9 to fall.
ball.
Well, with Dom
But I-
on the board and up to break, gotta imagine there's a whole world opportunity here.
I mean, Dom did say before that rack, don't call it a comeback. I'm not just sitting over here to look pretty.
You talking about yourself now or Dom?
I mean, both. We both apply. Yeah.
And what can you say? What else can
Do
be
we
said
have,
when it's a room
when's-
full of handsome pool players?
Well, I mean, I don't know about a room, but there's a couple of us in here. I see like 4. I would say 5, but Moscone keeps like laying on my phone, so he gets disqualified.
Moscone, of course, not William Moscone, but Moscone the cat that belongs to Dom. Or I suppose he
does-
belongs to himself, but he cohabitates with Dom.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Shake it up. Hold it about 6 inches away from your mouth. Just start breathing.
I remember I did.
Oh, man, yeah. You know, we got that THC now, too. So I got THC inhalers.
I want to get some.
Oh, they're good. I'll bring you one.
Yeah.
I've got one at home.
Throw that in the offer with the mushrooms and the simple deal and all
Oh, yeah,
that.
it's all in there, man. I give you a free pass to the store. Get a certificate. Oh, no.
Sorry, I had to step away. Did I miss anything?
We were talking about the cat, and then Dom.
Oh, that he belongs to himself?
Yeah. Now what's going on is Jay's looking at the 1 ball.
He's playing safe here. He's trying to get the cue ball behind the 7. And he comes up
Gets
just
there.
short, I think. I think Dom can see a sliver of this 1 ball.
Sure enough,
2 rails
gets
never
it
fails.
to go. Wow, look at that. Is that really a thing that people say?
In the pool world sometimes, yeah.
I have personally failed quite a few 2 rails, so that's why I ask. Well, Jay's up to bat here, looking for this 2-ball. Josh in the chat room says there's no such thing as handsome pool players.
Well, obviously you're not looking at your phone, Josh.
I
Wow,
think he's
what an
making a
effort.
reference to Earl Strickland quote.
Well, that's because Earl's one ugly.
Mother Fargo,
I was gonna say
off the top of my head on that
old
one.
geezer, but well, I tell you what, Jay, you definitely look better than Earl, and your attitude's 20 times better.
You're here.
4-hour private lesson with Earl Strickland.
Jay's telling us he did a 4-hour private lesson with Earl Strickland once. How was that lesson compared to the lesson you had with Shane?
Shane was much better, but Earl was just a trip. What a neat guy to be around. I mean, it was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. Then we went shopping. I took him out to a marijuana store, but took Earl shopping. That was fun.
Heard it here first. Earl Strickland, stoner. No, I'm joking.
I didn't say he smoked anything. I just said we went shopping.
I'm just trying to start the rumor mill here.
Attorney-client privileges? I remember that time that
that Gorilla Glue I brought him right before the lesson. But
I remember the time that Jay tried getting Corey Dool to take a picture at Malarkey's with a 6-foot giant
Dom made.
blunt
I made that joint.
that Dom made, by the way.
I got the picture too.
Wow.
And Corey Dool had to decline, but he said he would stand next to it. He just couldn't hold it because the sponsors would not like it.
Hell of a shot by Jay. Gets that 5 to fall and great look on the 6.
That was 2016, I believe. (2017).
Call it the green token open.
And the 6 goes down.
All right, back to the pool subject here. Jay is on the 7 ball. Looks like he's gonna either play safe or bank the 7, and he plays safe. Man, this guy's table speed, it's like he should own this pool table or something.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, I think it's for sale. This guy has the table speed down pat.
Bet you win a lot of games if you could play with this kind of speed on a regular basis. Probably that table will probably pay for itself real fast.
$20 is $20, sir. Good jump there by Dom, making contact with it. He is going to leave Jay a funny little angle here on this 7 ball. Either way he goes. But nonetheless, he made good contact with that 7 ball. And little things like that can be a huge difference in a set. Good shot there by Jay. He is having some flashback to his Earl Strickland
Back to those lessons.
lessons. And if he misses this, watch this. He'll break his cue.
Whoa.
Tune in next time because it's not happening right there.
Damn it. No to do down. No. Oh, darn it.
That is back-to-back racks, guys, that Jay has missed the 9 ball. I don't want to jinx anything there, but
It's not the ball you want to miss when you're shooting lights out on all the other ones, unfortunately.
great shot there by Dom. And he has taken advantage of back-to-back mishaps by Jay on the 9 ball. And
Like Gary Payton late in his career, rode the bench and got on the floor to grab a ring real quick on his way out.
well, he hasn't got the ring yet. I mean,
Payton? Oh, Dom?
Dom, he's got a long ways to go. This set isn't over.
I'm just a big
But,
Gary Payton
I mean,
fan and wanted to
Jay
bring him
did
into
win
the
5
conversation.
games before Dom won a single one, so that means Dom could win 5 games before Jay wins another one. And if that happens, the set's over.
That's not a good thing.
They used to say, if that happened to you, if you ain't first, you're lash. Good break there by Dom, making the 8 ball in the break. He is going to be able to see a part of this 1 ball. He might bank it. He might play safe. Who knows? He might play ring game style.
What does that mean?
Hit it hard and
Hope for the
find
best.
out what happens. Make sure that ball goes in a firm sense of direction. Doesn't matter which way it goes, as long as it's going somewhere. Jay tried playing a billiard off the 9 ball and pocketing it in the 1. That was a good effort there. But Dom calls the bank to see if they're open, and they're not open yet, but that's all right because he has some traffic in between the cue ball and the 1 ball. Hold on, guys. We're going to need somebody to protect that. You break it, you buy it. Oh, did you just tear the felt? No. Oh, it's yours, Jay Bernberg. Good try there by Jay.
Had to put a lot of sauce on that to get it to go. Or to get it to fly, I mean.
You might have to call Fred and see if you can get some more sauce then, because that didn't have enough.
Yeah.
But Fred, them pizzas were absolutely amazing, man. Appreciate everybody down at Tipsy Tomato. And I will post the takeout menu, or the delivery menu that I got from them. I'll post it in the comments afterwards in case anybody wants to check them out.
Yeah, if you're in the South Sound area, Tacoma specifically, that's where you want to go for your pizza. Tight cut attempt by Jay, and he gets it real close, but just can't quite get that 2 to fall down.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy shot. He had an extreme back cut there, and he didn't want to scratch off the 7 either. Gave a good effort, stayed down on his shot, and just unfortunate it didn't go. Dom's going to get a nice little rub off the 4 ball. I have a feeling he's going after the 9 here, guys. Ooh, good effort. Good effort. Unfortunately.
Just lines him right up there, unfortunately, and the 3-4, you got to imagine what's coming. There it is. One more goes to Jay. Unfortunate circumstance there for Dom with the way the 3 and the 4 lined up there.
Minus 5 points. Oh, wait. We're not in that format yet. Jay scratches on the break. Gives Dom ball in hand here.
Oh no, just that everyone's face looks funny if you zoom in that far.
Thank you, Doc.
Hell of a safety there by Dom. Jay will clear the magic rack and assess the situation here.
Did it? I don't think so. I thought it was 4.
Dom pockets the 4. And unfortunately, he's been in this spot a lot, but not normally by his own doing. Normally, Jay ends up playing a decent safe. But Dom's going to jump this 5 ball here. Good jump there by Dom.
Gets the connect.
Unfortunately, both balls come all the way back down, but hey, this is a lot better than giving your opponent ball in hand and being able to do whatever they want with it. So from that, he's just gonna sit there and hope. Sometimes it's hard to see that when you're playing, that it's like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have just sold out after making that good hit. But you always got to remember that it's, you don't want to give your opponent ball in hand and let them do whatever they want. So sometimes it's better off that way.
Yeah, like a lesser of two evils kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, what's done is done. You can't control it. So instead of being upset that, you know, you sold out, just be like, well, I made a good hit. They don't have ball in hand. Anything can happen now. I like to think my percentage of me running out is way higher with ball in hand compared to it just being on the table.
Absolutely.
Even if it's only off by like an inch from where I would have put it. But Dom makes the 7 ball there. He's on the 8. Jay makes the 8 ball. Ends up straight in on the 9, but who knows? Every ball has to be made here at Sharky Waters.
Gets it to go. Great effort by Jay.
I don't know if I've ever seen Jay play that good, to be 100% honest. Out of all the years I've been watching you play, Jay, like, I don't know what happened from when I saw you a couple weeks ago until now, but whatever it is, man, keep doing what you're doing, honestly.
Dom, grab that mic from Lash, if you will. We didn't get yours figured out just yet. But
Yeah,
we
I
want
was
to
just
hear you
gonna say
out.
real talk, man. I normally am feeling pretty comfortable about spotting Jay a couple games. You know, it's a gentleman's game, and you don't ever want to feel like your opponent feels like you're just living with your hand in their wallet. And
Since I've never beat you before.
yeah, and we've had a long history of that of playing together, and so he finally got one on me. That was great shooting, man. There was a lot of times where I was like, well, if he gets this one, he's going to earn it, and then sure enough, he like followed through on some real solid safeties.
Well, and I was getting the cue ball to go, when I was pocketing, I was getting the cue ball to go where I wanted to go. So
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, you heard it from Jay Bernberg first. Let's see if you can extend some of that good luck and some of the winnings that you just took out of my pocket. Put that into the treasure chest for the break pot. See if you can win that. We're up to what, $350, something like that?
I think we're just a little bit shy of that. We'll have to double check when David takes the deposit.
Yeah, Jay, go ahead and put your $10 inside of the treasure chest over there.
Back corner, right next to the giant shark painting. Well, Dom, you're like rarely on mic at this point. You want to be the person that says the breakpot rules?
Yeah,
and
sure.
sponsor?
This breakpot is brought to you by Clean Slate Pool Tables. You can check them out on Facebook at Facebook Clean Slate Pool Tables. Give your likes and your thumbs up over there. And if you have any questions or concerns about your pool table repairs, refurbishes, refelts, recushions needs, then contact us there. The rules to the game are that Jay's going to get one attempt to play himself a rack of 9-ball. All the normal 9-ball rules apply. You've got to hit the lowest ball on the table first. If he makes the 9-ball after hitting the lowest ball on the table first at any point in the time, he will win the game, even including on the break. After contact, a ball must hit a cushion. And aside from that, all luck counts. And we wish him the best of luck. I believe we're up to like $340.
I think it's a lot of money.
So if he wins that, then I think Jay and I are just going to run it back double or nothing for the whole wad.
One game.
One game, yeah.
Jay versus the ghost.
So you got David over there checking the rack. We try to give a legitimate rack, but of course we do not allow the magic rack in the middle of the clean slate break pot. Otherwise, the number would probably not be up to $340.
You never know.
Full swing here, a lot of movement.
Come on, baby.
Little kiss, little rub.
Oh, I thought we were gonna get a 1-ball on the side.
Yeah,
I didn't get one. No, you didn't get one.
just grazed the fin. 2 balls rattled in the back. That's the way the cookie crumbles. But rest assured, you're one of the few people that walked out of here with a little bit of earnings, Jay. Nice work on the pool playing again.
Big time.
And then I guess I'm going to turn around. Give a shout out to all the people in the crowd and the chats. Thanks so much for joining us. You could have been anywhere, but you were here with us, and we appreciate that. Jay Bernberg, thanks a lot for your help and tuning in and coming in. Anybody else? This is the kind of style that we do. This is your billiards variety live stream show. We're here every Wednesday night, and we are brought to you by Tipsy Tomato, our local bar in Tacoma, Washington. Prying Custom Cues in Western Washington. Clean Slate Pool Tables in Western Washington. Eastern Washington is where Prying Custom Cues is. I'm sorry. And then, of course, we are brought to you by viewers and sponsors like you. So be sure to check out the donate button.
And a big shout out to all our supporters. We are so close to 1,000 likes on our page. Thank you, everybody, for hitting that like button on Facebook. For
It's going to be a good one where essentially we can pull all of our money together, have a good time, and then somebody can walk away with the wins, and we can all walk away with the memories and the laughs. Till next time, get your practice in, and remember, perfect practice makes a perfect performance. Enjoy. Peace.